Hello, so this video is on Harriet Tubeman, Road to Freedom for Black History Month, so thanks for watching.
Almost all of us know the name Harriet Tubman, but how much do we know about her remarkable road to freedom? Martha Teichner maps it out for us.
Harriet Tubman, proposed but now on hold as Andrew Jackson's replacement for the $20 bill. What did you learn about her in school? That she ran away from slavery, then risked her own freedom to free others?
Oh, excellent.
One sentence, two, if that.
Harriet.
Playing her was tough and exhilarating.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave you.
A new film starring Cynthia Erivo
I made up my mind, I'm going back.
is meant to flesh out the Wikipedia entry.
When trouble comes, you'll be ready.
I saw her as a young woman who had a force of will that was almost unbreakable, and she was a superhero because of that.
The more you discover about Harriet Tubman, the more you realize she had to be a superhero.
I'm gonna be free or die.
To pull off exploits, it would be an understatement to say were daring.
These are the only known representations in a photograph that we have.
Kate Clifford Larson is Tubman's biographer.
This is 5 feet tall. This is a representation of Tubman as a life-size person.
On the eastern shore of Maryland, where she was born, the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Visitor Center opened in 2017. This tiny woman who could neither read nor write now has not one, but two national parks dedicated to her story.
Would this have looked the way it did when Harriet Tubman was around here?
Yes, it would have looked exactly like this.
She was born here, Araminta Ross, Minty for short, around 1822. Her parents were enslaved on different plantations,
And that far farm on the other side of the river.
hours apart.
Minty's life as a slave was horrific. It was brutal. It was cruel.
She and her mother were owned by Edward Brodus, who made $60 a year, renting her out, starting when she was 6.
She talked about how lonely and sad she was when she was separated from her mother, and how she would cry herself to sleep at night.
And then came the day when she was about 13, that she walked into the Bucktown Village store, just as an overseer was trying to catch a runaway.
When the overseer picked up one of these store weights, a 2-pound weight.
That's heavy.
Yes, and he threw it, intending to hit the young man who was fleeing. But Tubman had stepped back into the doorway, and it slammed right into her skull.
For the rest of her life, Harriet Tubman had sudden epileptic seizures, and visions, she said, were from God. Harriet was her mother's name. Minty began calling herself that when she married John Tubman.
In 1849, she escaped from this place.
Right here.
Right here.
A place called Poplar Neck in Caroline County, Maryland, when word reached her that she was going to be sold south. Just look at a map. Imagine Harriet Tubman in her 20s, running away alone, on foot.
So she would have come to this home.
She managed, with the help of the Underground Railroad, to make it 100 miles to the Pennsylvania border and freedom. But then Tubman went back 13 times over 10 years.
Lord, help me cross.
Leading more than 70 people to freedom. This scene in the film, it really happened. And get this, during the Civil War, she became the first American woman ever to lead troops into battle near Beaufort, South Carolina.
They blew up the bridge. They liberated 750 enslaved people off the plantations along that river. And the newspapers at the time wrote about this raid, and they credited the raid to the Black She-Moses.
Harriet Tubman had an amazing Forrest Gump-like ability to be at the center of history. Her friends among its key figures, abolitionists Frederick Douglass and John Brown. Tubman was a passionate campaigner for women's suffrage alongside Susan B. Anthony. She spent the last 50 years of her remarkable life here in Auburn, New York, where William Henry Seward, President Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State, and his wife Frances offered their friendship and support.
She was a regular guest here, social visitor, welcomed here. So we're entering the old house kitchen.
Jeff Ludwig is education director at the Seward House Museum in Auburn.
It was known that Harriet Tubman was looking to place her family somewhere and to plant roots somewhere, to build a home for herself. And so they offer her a piece of land.
7 acres. A black woman, technically a fugitive slave, buying a farm, unheard of. In 1869, she got married again to Nelson Davis, more than 20 years her junior.
This is an amazing house. It was one of 9 cottages.
In her 70s, she opened an old age home for formerly enslaved people and an infirmary, providing free health care to anyone, black or white.
She was a lightning rod for change.
Karen Vivian Hill heads the Harriet Tubman home.
She was the Serena Williams of her time, okay? Bold, bad, black, beautiful.
We know she was deeply religious and that she had secret pleasures.
Strawberries were her favorite dessert. So we found strawberry seeds all over the property and blue and white china, which is so unlike Harriet for her to have this affection for these very fine things.
So who was Harriet Tubman really?
This is just the Tubman scrapbook, as my mother called it.
To Judith Bryant, she was Aunt Harriet.
I'm a great-great-grand niece.
Descended from Harriet's brother, William Henry Stewart.
He and 2 other brothers she rescued from Maryland in 1854.
She's got bragging rights, but chooses not to brag.
It's my family. People always say, oh, I didn't know you were related to Harriet Tubman. Of course you didn't, but I did. We did.
She invokes her famous relative when things go right.
We have this expression, I do, it's Harriet's working overtime. She's sort of my guardian angel.
Tough and resolute to the very end, this was Harriet Tubman the year before she died, in Auburn, on March 10th, 1913. She was 91, or thereabouts. Her funeral was a major event.
When you come here, how do you feel?
Proud. Proud.
Harriet Tubman's grave has become a destination, a shrine for visitors in need of a hero. But her epitaph reads simply, "Servant of God, well done."